Hello everybody and welcome to this little video on the assessments that will be due for young people in society starting in week 2 of the course and moving on to week 4 and week 6. This is a little video to give you some idea of how to tackle the assessments and to help you to achieve your required outcomes for this course. We'll have a number of these videos as the course goes by to show you how to participate and complete the videos. So the assessments, I should say. Sorry. Okay, so let's have a quick look. We're in Young People in Society. If you want to discuss any aspects about the assessment, there's an assessment forum here. Feel free to go to the assessment forum and pop any questions down. Anybody who happens to know the answer to that and who sees something, participate. Chat with your fellow colleague students and make some friends, because we're here together. You're not learning in isolation, so it's important to understand that this is a sociology topic and that we learn from each other because it's a study of people. So you can find out here about the assessment as well, and there's templates for the assessments in here. And the templates for the assessments will be documents that you can use to help you complete the assessments. The first one is for the first assessment. Let's have a look. Is a case study analysis due in weeks 2, 4 and 6. Now there's no assessment template for this, and in a way the video is helping you to understand how you can address this assessment. So all you have to do is get a cover letter and put that on to an assessment document. Okay, so we're having a look at week 2. We're in week 2, and let's have a look. You can find details of the assessment in the book. And in the book, after we go through all the book learning, we get to page 10, Assessment 1A Case Study. And this will help you because it will give you a link to the video as well as showing you what the questions are. Here's a link to the video. You have to be logged into ACAP to actually be able to view that. But let's go through the questions. So you watch the video. The video lasts about 30 minutes, and it's a short video which talks about issues of income and inequality, and especially poverty, which is a significant factor in sociological problems that exist around Australia and around the world. So this is why we're starting with this massive subject, and this will give you an insight into the lives of some people who are getting by, and it shows you some of the issues they confront. So you need to write some short statements about this, and you only need to write about 50 words per answer. You don't have to write a book. So you just have to write some short, succinct sentences explaining. So what happened in the film, a short outline of the key ideas of the case study film. What was going on in the film? How many families did we see? What was the focus topic of the information in the video? What did you get out of the video? Describe social and cultural factors and how they contribute to young people. So looking at people from lower socio-economic backgrounds, using that sort of language as well. Think about age, thinking about how other aspects of their lives are impacted by the fact that they have a problem of income. There's some other elements as well, so anything you want to add in there. But again, 50 to 100 words. You don't have to write a book on this. Short sentences, clear sentences, check the spelling, make sure you're writing what you mean to write. A description of social government institutions, subjects that the film interacts with. So here you'll be looking at things like schools or Centrelink or other organisations, maybe juvenile justice or justice, criminal justice procedures, family courts, maybe debtors court, that sort of thing. Any institutions that are mentioned, list those. You only need to write dot points for this one. You don't need to write a sentence. Or maybe you can just describe why they're involved. For example, you might say this subject in the film was involved with this organisation because they had a problem with crime, something like this, for example. A description of the kind of inequality, prejudice or bias young people in the film experience. Have a think about that in relation to what you've seen. Have a link. Think about if there are other complexities in that matter as well. For example, are people from a different cultural background, and does that make the situation more complex if you put on top the fact that they're living in extreme poverty, for example? And consider their rights, their human rights. And you need to go back to chapter 1 for this, to look back on the Declaration of Human Rights. And if there's any human rights that you think are relevant to these points, you need to mention those. And any sorts of rights that you believe people might have. There might not be a universal Declaration of Human Rights. There might be just the simple legal rights of people, and what you think is a genuine right. And you might want to have a stab in the dark at something you think should be a right. It may not be a right, but have a think about that. For example, if people don't have any money, can they afford to go to school? And if they can't afford to go to school, does that affect their right to have an education? For example. So using the example of two people, describe how, as a youth worker, you would support them. So think about if you're a youth worker, what could you do to improve their situation? And it might not be, if they've got no money, supply them with money. Think about other things. How could you enrich their life without necessarily having to address, there might be a primary support agency that could be involved to address the major problem being exhibited in this film. They might need a social worker, for example. So if you're a youth worker working in a youth centre and you come across these people, what can you do to help these young people to get by and to make their lives better? Because ultimately that is your responsibility if you're a youth worker. And discuss how you can socially identify with these people, culturally compare them to your circumstances and your experiences growing up, to show that you can build empathy with these people. How would you do that? And again, we're only looking for 50 to 100 words. You don't have to write a big book here. So you've got 3 of these assessments, and really 500 to 1,000 words per. No one's counting. If you're writing a book, we'll be counting and we'll be not happy about that. But 50 to 100 words, very short. Try and write to the points in the assessment. So there it is again. There's the link to the video. You have to log in there. And if you go back onto week 2, where are we in week 2? If we go back down to week 2, you submit into the portal here. There'll be a different video in week 4 and a different video in week 6. And exactly the same process will occur. If you go into the books, in this video, you'll go scroll down, Youth Subculture Assessment 2, and again, think about the same questions from before, use the same information and look at this youth subculture and follow this program and answer questions related to this video here. Okay, and the same in week 6. So you'll find all the links there. Also, you can find the links in the assessment guide. So have a look at the assessment guide here. If you download the subject and assessment guide, I'll point out where that comes from. In your subject information, you can download a copy of the assessment manual and the learner manual here. So once again, let's go back to the main page. You can find that from the main page, subject orientation, subject information, learner manual, assessment manual, and you can find a link here to you can find information in the book that you can download. In the download, you will find the video resources links are in here as well, and here they are. Okay, so these are all 3 of the case studies, and the same questions will apply for each one. So you've got to write the assessment, the same assessments questions. You've got to answer to the same points. Now, there's no set video. There's no set submission document. So you just need to write some coherent sentences that describe and respond to the points. Part of this is about you learning to write a coherent sentence as well. So if you're not able to do it, now is the time to practice. Great. look, that brings us to the end of our video. If you have any questions, pop them in the discussion forum. As I said, the discussion forum is there as the assessment discussion forum. And if you go into the assessment discussion forum, you'll see assessment thread for all issues related to assessment 1A and 1B. And you can add a little discussion in there. And hopefully we'll all get to see any questions that you raise. And you'll be able to get a succinct and prompt response. Really, the answer will be to come into Zoom and have a chat in the Zoom classroom. And in the Zoom classroom, we'll be helping people to address some of the problems in the videos each week as they pop up. Look, that's great. Thanks very much for your time. I'm hoping that you have learned a lot from this assessment. Okay.